In this lecture, we'll talk about sorting data. Probably the most common tool for data management is called sorting. We've got a list on this worksheet for the best hospital, and the worksheet is called sorting. While this list is in no particular order right now, but you could easily imagine wanting to sort this list based on maybe the employee name in column A, or the department in column C, or maybe even the hire date in column E, or whatever column we want to sort by. Most sorting means rearranging by rows. There's an option to rearrange by moving columns from left to right. That's rarely used. We'd like to sort this data, and we can sort it in any number of different ways, in combination or ways as well. The Data tab on the ribbon has a Sort button. You notice all of this is Sort. And then also, if you go to your Home tab, there's also a Sort and Filter button here. But before we begin sorting, we could always scope out our data. Maybe someone has sent this data. I took a quick look at it. It looks okay. And I asked myself the question, are there any empty rows or empty columns down here? And no, I didn't see any. So I thought I would check it out. So a couple of tips here to help you. The ideal could be before sorting, maybe we should highlight all of our data. Well, that's okay and certainly not wrong. But if you've got thousands of rows, that might take a little bit of time. So a couple of pointers about working with data. Before considering sorting or filtering some of the other features or using some of the other features available, make sure the list you're working with doesn't have any empty rows in it or any empty columns. Be sure to get rid of those. And one way to check that out is to simply click in the data. We'll go ahead and do that. And we'll do a Control A on our keyboard. And what Control A does is that he highlights all of our contiguous data. And then if we want to go and check that, then we can always do a Control period on our keyboard. That'll take us from corner to corner to corner. And we see that we have 742 rows of data. And I'll hit the Control period and go right back up to the top. Now, one thing about this data is that you notice that this got selected. You notice over here I have a tax table and a percentage. Those items did not get selected. So the key here is that as long as you have a blank column in between the data when you're setting up for sort, then that's okay to leave these items on your spreadsheet. So basically what we're going to do, another thing I wanted to tell you is that your heading, that if you have a heading that's maybe two rows, try to get that into one row. That makes life a lot simpler, not only with the sorting, but with using other data management tools as well. And as I said earlier, there could be data off to the right, and this is one example, but as long as you have a blank column in between those things, they won't be sorted. So we can begin the sorting process. So we can do it from the Home tab, or we can do it from the Data tab. And I think I like doing it from the Home tab. I'll go ahead. I'll select Sort and Filter. And if you notice here on the Home tab, we have three different options where we can sort A to Z, which would be ascending. We can sort Z to A, which is descending. Or we can perform a custom sort, which is what we're going to do in this example. So here I will select my custom sort. And I'd like to sort this data by department, then by status, then by years of service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by department from A to Z, ascending. I'm going to add another level. sort by status, A to Z, and I'm going to add a third level to sort by years of service. Now notice that comes up smallest to largest. I do have a drop down, and I think that largest to smallest would be a better fit for us. We could go either way, but I believe the smallest to largest is a better fit at this particular time. I also wanted to let you know that in older versions of Excel, before 2007, you could only sort at most on 3 fields at the same time. Now in this list, and you can certainly imagine larger lists than this even, we might have a lot of people with the same years of service, same status, and same department. So let's maybe add another level. We can now sort on up to, believe it or not, 64 levels. So I'm going to set up the fourth level. Go ahead and add a level. And I want to sort by employee name. And I want that to be ascending. Now, one of the things to look at when you click on sort, the box to the right is usually correct, that my data has headers. You'll notice in the background that row 1 is not highlighted. Now, if I were to uncheck this, notice that row 1 is now highlighted, and it's going to be treated like any other row and get sorted and end up somewhere in the middle of my data. I don't want that. So always take the time to check if you have a header and make sure you have this box checked. If for some reason it isn't, and you do have headers, well then by all means, do go ahead and check it. And the visual usually confirms what's going on. So, we're about to click OK.